What's up, everyone? Everybody get the notification? So I have a special discount today, which I've never done before. The book, my Beato book, is discounted already. Aaron just discounted it 20% in the store. And everyone that purchases it today gets my album, which I always forget to tell you. I have an album. It's called Preludes and Etudes. You get the album for free if you purchase my book today. So, so that's there you go. That's the deal. You can also purchase my album too, but I always forget to tell people that I have an album for sale on my website. I mean, honestly, it never occurs to me. You know, I have mugs. I don't say that very often, but I have mugs that well, I don't have them here, but they have all the formulas for all the different scales and triads that you need. I mean, it's all in the book too, obviously. But I have my Beato book printed out here now. The copy that you get is only a PDF. I printed this out, but you know, all the stuff that I talk about in here is you know, it just shows you the you know, the let me just go to the beginning part here. It shows you the formulas of everything. It really starts out right at the beginning with intervals, like how to name intervals and things like that. I mean, the most basic things. You know, just like you would learn if you're doing ear training, you'd start out with intervals. Well, you'd start out with pitch matching first, then you go to intervals. So there is no discount code. Just go, if you purchase a Beato book, it's 20% off right now. Aaron just changed the price. It's for the next 24 hours, and then you get the, with every purchase, you get my album for free. You need to print it out. You know, it's interesting because you can print it out, or a lot of times I'll go in and I use a highlighter, digital one, and I can highlight things and I'll take notes in there that, you know, so it's, you know, a lot of it comes down to what you're used to doing. If you're used to printing things and reading out of books, you know. If you look at most concerts nowadays, most people, classical, if you go to a piano recital, people are reading, they're reading off iPads. Or they're reading off tablets. That's how they do it. And you do page turning with a little foot switch, a little Bluetooth foot switch, and that's how people read music nowadays. You go to have it printed out. Tell me you want it in black and white. It's a sixth the cost. Actually, don't tell them color because they'll print it in color, but it's actually a sixth the cost to do it. Just say black and white, double-sided. And be like, oh, okay. Okay, I want to talk about, I'm always talking about this playing melodically. Now there's, thank you, David, very much. There are really specific rules that, that you need to follow, in a sense, to write good melodies. I could say that pretty much every great melody follows these same rules. You typically, I'll say it again, I have this series of videos that nobody watches called The Principles of Melody. It's a 3-part series. But, and I've talked about this many times on here, but chord tones go on strong beats and non-chord tones and passing tones go on weak beats. If you take a melody like this, okay, that would be a Bach melody from one of the inventions there. So If you start on the downbeat, down, that's the strong beat. Then weak beat, that's the ninth if you think of D minor. Then strong beat, weak is the 11th. So you got the root on the first beat. Then on the and, you have the ninth. Then you have the third on the strong beat, the second beat. Then the 11th or the fourth is on the weak beat. And then the fifth is on a strong beat, the third beat, right? And that's where the chord changes. And then on the downbeat, it goes back to the third on the strong beat. Now, as you play more complex and come up with more complex melodies, you know, there are pop songs that will use a non-chord tone, or what we call a color tone, on a strong beat. Like Sheryl Crow, let's see, I'm not sure what key it is, isn't it? Makes you happy, wasn't so bad if it makes you happy. My voice is a little screwed up here. Happy. Now that note is the ninth of the chord. Okay, so that is a color tone, or the upper structure tone. Okay, so the same thing goes if you're playing bass. Somebody just mentioned bass there. If you're walking a bass line or playing fills, anything that you do, you want to have chord tones on strong beats and non-chord tones and passing tones on weak beats. Now, the strong and weak beats get divided up this way. If you have quarter notes, okay, those are all your strong beats. If you have eighth notes, the ands, are the upbeats, are where those non-chord tones and passing tones go. And on the and if you have 16th notes, 1 E and those are your weak beats. Those are going to get your passing tones and non-chord tones. Okay, so now, if you're playing things, you can take a scale. I'm always taking scales, just basic scales, and trying to demonstrate how to play melodically. Thank you, Deb. Appreciate that. So I like to use my freeze pedal when I do this, and I like to take just simple scales, Mixolydian, Lydian, Dorian, whatever. I'll take Dorian, for example. I'll do something here, like let's say I take A Dorian. Okay, so now I start out at the beginning of that. So here's my A minor 7 chord. I'm using this E minor 7th chord over this A minor. I'm doing A minor 11 because this is an upper structure. So there's that ninth there. That's a real beautiful note over the chord. I could have gone like this and done the, I could have done. But you've already heard that note here. You heard it there. That note actually sounds better to go to since it's a note that you have not heard already in the line, in the melody. That sounds even better. There's my ninth again. There's my sixth. That note is dissonant against, if I look at the chord here, it's a half step away from one of the chord tones. This note here, that note is a half step away from that chord tone. Anytime you have a half step, a note that's a half step away from a chord tone like that, it's going to create a dissonance. And depending on the register that you're in, the dissonance can be a really beautiful thing. if I play that note down here, it's a half step away from one of the chord tones. If I play it up here, same note, it's a major seventh. It's a major seventh away from that. If I play this note here, it's a half step away from here, but if I play it here, it has a totally different sound. Right there. So I'm always trying to think, playing melodically means playing notes and finishing your phrases on really strong notes. They can be chord tones or non-chord tones, but that the shape of the line always has to be going somewhere. That's the key to any great melody. There has to be a certain amount of predictability in it. If I play, let's see. Let's say I do something really simple. I'm on an E chord. So I'm playing from E, just an E major chord to an A minor chord there. Now this note here, this note C, I'm playing on the downbeat. That's the third of the chord, but I'm playing a melody that is the entire forward motion of that melodic idea is leading up to that note. Right? Could do that too, but if I go that, I could do that. That's not quite as strong because it doesn't, is really where the ear wants that to go. Right? Or it's a subtle thing here, but having your melodies have direction and predictability to them, where the listener doesn't necessarily know where you're going, but your line is really suggesting these things. Okay? So when I'm playing more complex lines over one chord, I like that. Also, those are your you say it sounds like Cliffs of Dover. Everybody says that. Anytime you play anything that actually has any intervals in it, people always associate it with Eric Johnson. Think about Pat Metheny. Think about Keith Jarrett or Brad Meldau or Ide Nesson. Think about the Beatles. Using those kind of intervals are a really make your playing sound so much more interesting. Okay, playing melodic ideas, sequences too, and saving the more dissonant notes for a little bit later, like this. Watch. There you go. So I'm playing. That's that ninth, and then. If you're going to say generalization, it doesn't really spell that word like that. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Beato book is 20% off in the store now. Everybody that buys a Beato book gets my album for free. For all of you that don't know that I have an album, I actually have an album. It's called Preludes and Etudes, which I always forget about. You guys could remind me sometimes that I have an album, but all these when you get into really bigger interval jumps too, that's where the sounds I think are really get beautiful. I love that. I think it's a all these kind of all those kind of sequences are so if I'm thinking A minor, so I did a I'm doing a D triad, C triad, D triad, C triad, G triad to D triad. Okay, listen to that again. Let me get the chord to sound a little more. I love that. Or, like, let me play this chord a little quieter. All those sounds are really lines like that. love that. That's that pedal point like I was doing in my video yesterday. Hard to play, actually. Hard to play those fast. And then somebody's saying the Eric Johnson, Cliffs of Dover. So he's using that pedal point, same kind of thing, but you'd have to do it in a different key. So it'd be like this. So you got that G pedal tone there. Okay, so you're going between a D major triad and a C major triad, but keeping that G there. And if you were to do it, if you were to transpose that lick, so if I transpose that same idea but down to a different scale degree, instead of using G as the pedal point, if I use the note C, I'd go. Doesn't sound as good on that. You have to pick these really strong tones to play off of. Okay, this is really good here, because if you're in the key of G, if you're in A Dorian, you're in G, and G is the tonic of that key. So you're going between the 4 chord and 5 chord. That's exactly what I was doing when I played this. I'm just singing just between D and C triads there. Those are going to give you your really beautiful notes on there. When you get into other type of chords, it's all the same. It would be a very similar thing. If I was playing a C major chord, okay. Let's say I just do the C sus2. There's your Lydian sound, right? I'm playing a C sus2 chord there. Oh, if people stop complaining about clipping, just turn your speakers down. God, I hate that. Like, people just harp on the same stuff. Just listen. When am I going to take out the sideburns? After I bandhammer you. How's that? There you go. How's that? Goodbye. Can I turn the amp down? No, because it's just about down. It's just about as far down as it can go. But if I turn it down, it pretty much... can turn it down to about there. People don't know how to use their stereos. People are like, it's distorting my headphones. Well, turn your headphones down, dude. You know? Miles, I know, right? They always find something to complain about. People always ask me about there. They're like, what's up with the internet? It's like, what do you mean? It's the internet. People complain about stuff. What are you gonna do? Who cares? I think it's funny though. You always have to have a good sense of humor about it. By the way, this is actually a new amp that I got from my friend Keith, 5-Watt World, who is on here. That you should subscribe to his channel. It's an AC10 and it sounds great. I don't care if it's actually clipping, dude. It's easier to complain than learn. Hey Peter, how are you? So when chords are changing, it actually becomes easier to play melodic lines, because what you're doing is you're following the contour of whatever the chord changes are. So it's easier. If I have a chord progression like this, sorry if I'm using jazz chord changes, but this is a good example, because there's a natural line direction in this. I've got A minor 7. So I've got this note moving between the chords. Now right there, you've got that line that moves between the chords. So it's easier to keep a melody line following that. If you're playing, you can play it. Okay, there you go. You can hear the chords when they're changing. So right there, A minor 7, D, G. Now instead of playing jazz, that's like more like, you know, so if I hear those chord changes going on. That's the thing, is to always be playing melodies that require no accompaniment behind them. If I play this idea right there, that is an A minor 9 chord sound, right? Because it's simply an A minor 9 arpeggio. And then if I go here, is a D sus or D add 9. I played, what did I play? Can always hear the chord changes moving in any of these things. If I add an extra chord and I play 2, 5, 1, 6, so I have to add that chord to the progression. So I play that. Thank you, Israel. Appreciate that. Wow, that is awesome. Once again, there's the flow of the sound of chords. As the chords move quicker, it becomes more difficult to play over them. But by practicing slow like that, and that's what I would do when I was, when I was in college. I would really always try to outline the chords like that. And I'd say, okay, where does that note go? So I played an A minor 9 arpeggio over my A minor 7. And I went to the third of the D chord there. And I went right up a D major chord. Right, so. You're always hearing those changes there, always right on those downbeats, finding those chord tones that you want to go to. Okay, but knowing, being able to create lines that have direction is really the key. So when I was doing that, I'm just thinking on one chord. If I just play like a D. Let's say I play an E sus chord here. So that would be over an E suspended chord. What is it? Macon? Is that how you say that? Maicon? Thank you very much. Your book is beginning to advance. The reason I'm asking. Yes, my book is really beginning to advance. It literally starts out how to build a chord, how to build major, minor, diminished, and augmented chords. Oh, that pedal is a freeze pedal by Electro-Harmonix. It's just great for practicing. Do I know Mick Goodrick's book? I do know Mick Goodrick's book because I helped proofread it because he was my teacher at the time. But knowing all your interval shapes and things like that is really, really important. Have I tried to jam over the entangled chord? Well, there's a lot of entangled chords. Pretty good, right? Well, I like that. That's over the entangled chord. That's one of the entangled chords. There's a lot of entangled. There's a lot of entangled chords. HK, could I touch on the static melody with moving chords, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds? Okay, so what about that? You have an A dyad, right? A5 chord, right? So you've got the fifth, root fifth, and then if you think of this like an A7 chord, right? And if you think of this as a D add 9 chord, that's this chord. So you got bum 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 da da da. That's what that chord progression is. Just A7, D, D minor, A major. Listen to it again. The good thing about that is that they're using that note on the D minor chord, right? It's like a D minor 6 sound. I love that sound. But if you were to analyze the chords, that's what's going on there. And that's a pedal point. That's a great example, HK, of a pedal point. love it. Love that. One of my favorite songs of all time. There's a lot of secondary dominance in it. How would I approach melodic playing in the blues? Well, the same thing. If you're playing over a blues, you want to still follow those tones, right? Ooh, I like that. What did I play? No. That's cool. I'll turn it on. Oh, that's kind of a cool sound there. But once again, the blues, you know. So I'm using, you know, I just played a B flat, right? So I think it. Cool, you know, it's just playing things that go to the right place at the right time, outlining the chords. You know, and you can play simple, you know. Woo! That's hard. Tiring to think of. Okay, that's good for today. Anybody purchases the Beato book today, it's on sale, 20% off already. You don't have to put a discount code in on the website. Go there and you get my album, Preludes and Etudes, for free. Or you can just buy my album too. Anyways, you guys are the best. You guys are always the best. Check out my video on pedal point that I did yesterday. Not many people have watched it, but it's one of my best videos I've done, I think. I think it's the best video I've done in the last ASB. I think it's the best video I've done in the last 6 months, for sure. There's a lot of examples, and I hit all three. I hit 3 genres of music. I hit classical music, jazz, and rock. And I think that's those are the kind of videos that I think, to me, are the strongest. I think that being able to touch upon multiple genres of music to show how to apply these things is really, really important. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, thank you, everyone. We'll see you later. Oh, Beato Club. Sign up for the Beato Club. There's lessons, there's live streams. I'm going to do a live stream at 5 o'clock there. Hey, Peter. We got to catch up soon, Peter. Sorry I've been so busy. I'll tell you about it after. Okay.